Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel where I am continuing this is day four of the hi Gigi of the readathon for the American Cancer Society. Links in the description below. And here I have my boy Gigi. Gigi, come on, man. He's going to assist. My supervisor is here today. Yeah. I think these computers taking up my lap space. I know. It's okay. But so far, it's been a pretty exciting book, The Eyes and the Impossible. Remember, this is a blind read. I have no idea what's happening until I actually read it. So my reactions are genuine, and Gigi's reactions are genuine. Yes, they are. And so, yeah, I have a feeling he's going to be popping in and out of this uh, out of this video quite a few times. So eh, just he's part of the journey, everyone. Part of the journey. All right. So we're going to read chapter 7 and 8 today. All right. Chapter 7. Yes, I had a plan to escape. Give me credit. All I had to do was get seen by one of the assistant eyes. Any animal at all, really, or most of them anyway. We can't count on the ducks. As you all know, yeah, it's the thing with the ducks. I told you about the ducks. Um, would help if they saw me leash. Any of the other animals would know something was wrong. The task was to, bruh. Gigi, come on, man. Sorry. The task was to get noticed, but inside this vehicle it was dark and I was far from any windows. I had seen cars. Gigi, seriously, pick a spot. Gosh. It's, sorry. I had seen cars for as long as I could see, but I have never seen inside one. I know many of my kind enjoy being inside these moving metal boxes, but I did not enjoy it. Whatever appeal, sorry. Now he wants to press buttons. Silly goose. Stop it. Whatever appeal might have held was diminished by my status as captive. It was not pleasant. It was small and smelly and full of foul humans who wished for me a life I had not chosen. Indeed, I needed to be out in the open again. At which point I would be soon seen and soon rescued. We animals of the park have engineered other rescues in the past. Once a month, some kid traps a mouse or a frog, or a parks person snares a fox, and we have to make a plan. With the kids, it's easy. One of us startles the kid, scares them, it distracts them, and their hands open and the captured goes free. Parks people, it should be said, are generally smarter and more prepared for our disruptions. Still, though, I knew that Bertrand or Yolanda would soon know of my captivity, and they were constantly circling the park. And the next time I was outside or near the windshield of this vehicle, they would see me held in the fist of this man. Or any bird would see, any squirrel, Freya would be told, the rest of them would be told, or they would realize there was trouble when I failed to report, and they would rally the rest, and that would be that. I was of value. I was the eyes. My absence would be noticed. But just then the front door of the vehicle opened and a fourth person ducked inside, grinning with unhappy eyes. My friends, I scored, but we gotta leave now. Rainbow, what did you find? Pamela said, crawling forward to him to kiss his cheek. I did, Pam Pam, said the man. Pam Pam? I took his name to be Rainbow, which made me laugh a little. Bearded and scarred, small-eyed and scowling, he looked quite unlike a bending prism of multicolored light. Now his eyes fixed on me. "Where'd you get that?" he asked. Found him, Twisty said, turned my leash around again in his fist. My head was brought closer to his knuckles. Does he bark? Rainbow asked, staring at me. No, Twisty said, he's cool. If he barks, I'll kill him. He won't, Twisty said, and looked at me intensely, as if I were contemplating barking and he meant to dissuade me. Have some of this, he said, and he rummaged around till he found half a turkey sandwich. He thrust it into my snout, and I resisted. I did not want his turkey sandwich or any turkey sandwich. The second he barks, I kick him in the stomach, Rainbow said. Then I'll kill him. Wow, I'm sensing a lot of aggressive vibes from Rainbow. He needs to chill out. He won't make a sound, Twisty said, and turned the leash one more time in his white fist. Fact is, I was contemplating barking. Barking, I hoped, would bring Bertrand or Angus, whose ears are exceptional, even while he slept. But I didn't want to get kicked in the stomach, and I believed that was a real possibility. I had to think. I had to bide my time and use my bark at the best possible moment. The hierarchy here was confusing. I had been sure that Twisty was the leader of this band, but now this new man called Rainbow, who was shorter but wider than Twisty, was ordering everyone around, and they were fumbling and tumbling to obey. They followed his orders without question. They looked like they'd done this kind of thing, this rapid exit before. How much did you get? Pamela asked him. Plenty. Park rangers or whatever they have here are probably looking for me, so we gotta move, Rainbow said. Where'd you get it? Pamela asked, smiling with rapturous kind of admiration. Never you mind. Rainbow said he was obviously very proud of himself, so much so that his humility gave way. Door was open, the cash box was there. I took it and I split. Now we have to split. Out of the park, Pamela said. Precisely, my dear, Rainbow said, and held her face in his two hands. Ew! Not that I expected Rainbow to be any better than the rest of these guys, but he walked in and stole the cash box out of, I guess, the concession stands. How rotten. Chapter 8. Now I knew the shape of things. I remembered the small silver box of money from that morning in the soccer park. Soon the park police and the city police would be looking through the park for the culprits. They might even close down the park exits. Twisty and Rainbow and Pamela needed to leave as soon as they could. Once in the city, they would be among 20 or 30 million other people in a million cars and trucks and would blend in quickly into invisibility. I would be with them inside this rolling metal container, utterly unseeable. I looked around. The back of this vehicle, where I sat, was a vast, boxy shape, full of random things. Two bicycles, a scooter, a horn of twisted gold, a musical instrument, and then I knew who these people were. These were robbers. These were thieves. They were truly troubled travelers, taking things that were not theirs and running away with them. There were so many things inside this vehicle. A pair of tennis rackets, someone's purse, someone's necklace, a stroller for a child. Oh, I did not like these humans. And I knew if they got me out of the park, my chances for rescue would plummet. My friends were in the park. Only a few of the birds ventured farther. I knew I had to get free before we left the green park and landed on the gray streets. The vehicle and all of its stolen things was swiftly, loudly rumbling through the park's main road. I could see the gray of the city in the distance in front of us. I have to say, I began to panic then. There were no openings. The windows were closed, the doors impenetrable. The only source of hope was a tiny hole in the floor, through which I could see the road rush. But it was too small, far too small for me. I would be lucky to pass a paw through it. Never before have I panicked, because my speed is a weapon against all worry. But now, leashed and caged in this moving metal box, I could not run. I had few options, and was surrounded by humans with their clever hands, and I began to despair. I always wanted a dog, Twisty said wistfully. He meant me. He wanted a thing, and now that thing was me. I had been a dog, a free dog of limitless propulsive capacity. There's a tongue twister for you. And eyes without obstacle, and now I was a thing this man owned. I was the fulfillment of some desire he had. My parents wouldn't get let me get one, he went on, but now I've got one. Kind of smells, though, Pamela said. She really said this. It is important to me that you know I do not smell. I live outdoors, yes, and partake in unwanted food, yes, and have run through mud and rain and ocean water, but I am clean. The smell was theirs. These people in this vehicle. Did I tell you this already? They smelled. Oh, they smelled. I had noticed it right away, but it was more obvious to me when Pamela made this errant remark about me and my own odor, which does not exist. The city was growing larger in the windshield. For the first time in my life, I didn't know what to do. Nothing I could do would get me free. The windows were closed. Even if I barked and leaped around and bit at random, nothing would change. And then Twisty turned me on my back and began rubbing my tummy. He did. Well, I think he likes it, Pamela said. She was incorrect, but I was smiling. I was smiling because, while on my back looking up, I noticed a window in the roof of the vehicle. There was a window, and across it I saw the passing shape of a great bird. It passed quickly but deliberately, and hope swelled in my heart. I squirmed free and got on my feet again. I had to be ready. And then it happened. A great flurry of wings on the windshield started it off. The wings were almost as wide as the glass and barked Rainbow's view completely and blocked Rainbow's view completely. Gad, he said. I don't think that is a word in any language, but this is what he said. He was so surprised, so startled, he stopped the vehicle. Now the wings calmed for a second, and I saw that it was Bertrand. I had assumed it was Bertrand, but now I knew for sure it was Bertrand. He peered through the windshield, looking for me. Finally, his eyes found mine, and he smiled a smile both confident and mischievous. I had never been so proud to have such a magnificent friend. Thump came another bird. Yolanda. Oh, she is heavy. I had never before heard the sound of her landing on the front of a van like this, but wow, it was loud. She landed, then spread her wings, so much wider than Bertrand's even, and now there were two giant great birds on this hood of the vehicle, and the humans inside were screaming. Hey! Pamela yelled. Yeah! Twisty yelled. More thumps came, more and more and more from more and more of the birds. They were everywhere. Every window was darkened by birds, flapping their wings and cracking their beaks against the glass. Even I was unnerved, and these were my friends. Finally, Bertrand gave me the briefest of winks as if to say, This madness is for them, my friend, not you. There was a frightening commotion and was having all the desired effects. The vehicle was stopped, the humans were terrified, and soon I could be free. But how? The windows were still closed, the doors were closed, and the people inside seemed disinclined to open any of these openings, given the onslaught of wings and beaks outside. Rainbow began driving again. The van lurched and soon was moving far faster than before. Ha! Ha! Rainbow yelled because Bertrand and Yolanda, who had been standing on the hood and flapping their wings, were now thrusted upward and behind us. They would regain their wings and catch up momentarily, but we were so close to the city, closer than ever, and once there, everything would change. And then I heard a scream like I've never heard a scream. It was so high and so loud and so spiraling, I thought thought first was fire. Were they all on fire? Hey there, said a voice, and I saw it was Sonia. Yes, I thought, the hole in the floor. Of course. While the van had been stopped, the squirrel would have had time to make it through, and had in fact made it through, and this squirrel just happened to be Sonia. She said hello to me as she leapt from human to human, scratching and terrifying every one of them. Oh, Lord, she was fast. Have you ever seen a squirrel in a confined space, jumping from person to person with the express purpose of causing havoc? It is something. Never have I been seen so much chaos in one small place at one time. It was in Pamela's hair, then Twisty's, then she was all over Rainbow's head and eyes and ears until he had no choice but to stop the vehicle and throw open the door to escape. Are you coming or what? Sonia said, so casually, so brightly, as if she were inviting me to look at a sunset on a Thursday. Rainbow had fled through the open door and was running from the vehicle, his arms flailing around his head in a way I thought was very funny and very sad. And yes, 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 I followed Sonia. First, I gave a nice chomp to Twisty's leg to free his hand from my leash. On when that, oh, when that leash went slack, it was glorious, glorious. Then, with two mighty strides, I was at the steering wheel. And then I leapt through the open door and out into the light again. I followed Sonia back to the safety of the park, back to the woods as Bertrand and Yolanda and everyone else thumped their wings and rose above the treetops, cackling and whooping in the happy skyward surroundings. I am so glad that our boy Johannes wasn't going to get caught up in that life. That sounded like it was going to be a bad time. So, hooray for friends to come to the rescue. Woohoo! So, that was chapter 8 and 9. Make sure you, if you get a chance, to donate to the American Cancer Society. Link to my Facebook page for the donations are below, or you can just go to the American Cancer Society website and make your donations there. All good. And remember, Roma, Riva, and Krishna, Auntie Heather loves you very much, and I love everybody else too. Please take care, everybody. See you next time. Bye bye.